Right, now, whilst that's all drying, we're going to come over this side and just paint these shadowed areas underneath these petals. So I've got some browny shadow, and maybe I've got some bluey shadow here, or bluey. It's too strong, so I'll just add some water as we do. And I'm going to start here. So we're going to pick up some of this cinnamony shadow, that sort of colour. Maybe I'll make it a little bit stronger, and go underneath. So there's a cute little petal. You can be as fussy as you like with this, but you don't have to be. There's a little round petal curling in there. So just looking for the shapes. So we're just colouring in, wet on dry, nice and easy. Now, before I just coloured in this little triangle there, because it's just part of the shadow part, but by itself. And just bring the shape of that. Get that line right. And then this is around the shape of that petal. And it comes down to here. And then the colour changes, it goes grayer. So this is pinky. And what I'll do is I'll pick up a bit of this nice rich pink, and I'm just going to drop it along the edge there. It's just going to come bursting out. So you just need to form this, the edge of this petal, is a nice smooth line, because it's this line here coming down and under, the nice little rosy glow out there. Now there's a little squiggle down here, but we'll do that later. Then we're changing to a more bluey grey, so we're going over here, a little bit more blue in it for this area here, and that's coming down. So it's just forming that nice little curvy shape there. So you see how you're just looking for the shapes, just comes to the edge of that petal there. And I'm just going to leave this light bit light here, and I'll soften it later. And then we've got this other gorgeous little bit rolling over here. See that? And this is all shadowed. We'll finish that bit there later. With lovely, to be quite dark. Just get the shape of that petal nice, and then we'll roll it later. So see how we've changed from rosy to tanny cinnamon. Excuse me, cinnamony. Colour all of this in. That's all it. Form that edge nicely there. We're just looking for the shapes, and then we've got a nice curve bit here. So it's just colouring in, but see the nice colour drift. You want it to be interesting. Then there's a light bit here, so I'm going to go in with a more rosy colour underneath here. I'll put a bit more rose in here too, because it's got a bit of petal, it's got to tie in with each other. So I'm just leaving those light bits light for a minute till this is drying out a little bit. So I'll just let that dry off a little bit for a minute. blue in there, I think. Just to darken it. Is it too dark? More in there. It doesn't matter if you get butterflies and cauliflowers and cabbages and whatever in here. It just adds to the texture in these little places. So I'm just going to put a little bit more here, but just keep, it is shadow, but we want it lively. So just darken it up if you think you need to. Just let it dry for a minute. And when it's feeling duller, then, and the thing you just have to think about is the shape of this petal, because this is forming the shape. So you want this to be a lovely smooth line. So we'll just let that dry for a minute. And then I'm just going in with it's a number 6. This is black velvet. And I'm just going to go in with a damp brush. It's not quite damp enough, but you don't want it wet. And just wet the edge. I guess you're touching the edges of those other 2 areas and letting them spread in softly. So I'm just catching, I'm being clever and catching both edges on this side. So you just get that light feel there and light here. And it's done.